Hello everyone. In my today's session, I am going to continue with the previous topic, that is Hermitian operator, and we are going to derive the second property which is very important for an operator to become Hermitian is nothing but the orthogonality of eigenfunctions. Then let us deal with the nature of momentum, energy, kinetic energy, Hamiltonian, etc. in terms of operators, which is playing a very important role in studying quantum mechanics. So let's start. First, let us go through the derivation of the property of Hermitian operator, which states that any two eigenfunctions of a Hermitian operator having two different eigenvalues are orthogonal. So here we are having two eigenfunctions and a Hermitian operator is operated on it, and these two eigenfunctions give two different eigenvalues. For such condition, we have to prove that the two eigenfunctions are orthogonal. Let us consider a Hermitian operator as a cap, and then we need to consider two different eigenfunctions, means we need an eigenvalue equation. Here I am considering xi m and xi n as the two wave functions, and am and an are their corresponding eigenvalues. So the eigenvalue equation are a cap xi m is equals to am xi m, which is called as 1a, and the second is the Hermitian operator a cap operating on the wave function xi n, which gives again xi n with the eigenvalue an, that is a constant. Let us consider an integration from minus infinity to plus infinity of xi m star a cap xi n dx. This is nothing but a part of the definition of Hermitian operator. That is the first term of Hermitian operator definition. So this term we have considered, and then using equation number 1b, we know that a cap into xi n is nothing but an into xi n, that I have substituted. So an is a constant that can be taken outside the integral. Then we get equation number 2, which is an into integration from minus infinity to plus infinity of xi m star xi n into dx. Then let us consider the second term of the definition of Hermitian operator, which is nothing but integration from minus infinity to plus infinity of a cap xi m the whole star into xi n into dx. Now from equation number 1a, we know that a cap into xi m is nothing but am into xi m. So that we have to substitute. Then it will solve up to am star into xi m star. We know am star is a constant, so we can take it outside the integral sign, and I am calling it as equation number 3. Now we have already seen the definition of Hermitian operator, which is nothing but integration from minus infinity to plus infinity of xi m star a cap xi n into dx is equals to integration from minus infinity to plus infinity of a cap xi m whole star into xi n into dx. So in these two equations, equation number 2 and equation number 3, the LHS parts are nothing but Hermitian operator conditions. So these two can be equated because we have considered a cap to be Hermitian operator. So when LHS are going to be equal, it means that RHS also can be equated. So I am equating the RHS of equation number 2 and equation number 3. That is an into integration from minus infinity to plus infinity of xi m star into xi n into dx is equals to am star into integration from minus infinity to plus infinity of xi m star xi n into dx. So now I am bringing all the terms on the LHS side. So integration will be as it is, and we are having a term that is an minus am star. We have already seen the first theorem where we know that eigenvalues of Hermitian operator are always real. So we can say this bracketed term is nothing but an minus am. So finally what we are having? The integration from minus infinity to plus infinity of xi m star into xi n into dx is equals to 0. Why? From the above equation we know either of any of these two terms has to be equated to 0. Then only the equation is valid. So if we consider the first term, that is an minus am star, it can't be equal to 0. It is equal to 0 means an has to be equal to am, which is not true because we have already considered two different eigenvalues. So an is not equal to am. That's why if the condition has to hold good, means the second term, which is the integration from minus infinity to plus infinity of xi m star into xi n into dx should be equal to 0. And this is nothing but the theorem which states that the two eigenfunctions are orthogonal. This is the orthogonality condition. So whenever we are considering an operator to be Hermitian, these two properties are very important. First one is eigenvalues should be real and second one is eigenfunctions should be orthogonal. So this is about Hermitian operator. In the example part we have seen position, momentum, energy, Hamiltonian, angular momentum, all these are coming under Hermitian operator examples. So what is the nature of these examples in quantum mechanics? Let us see, or what these observables will be equal to in quantum mechanics in the form of operators we need to know. So first let us start with derivation of momentum operator, or we can say p cap, which is nothing but a linear momentum operator. So here we are considering a plane wave equation. I have considered just in one dimension. It can be considered in 3 dimensions also. So for one dimension I am considering the plane wave equation as xi of x comma t, where x is the position, t is time, which is equals to a into e raised to I into kx minus omega t. So this is a plane wave equation. If it is considered to be in 3 dimension, instead of x we can just write it as r. So here this is a plane wave equation. Then let us differentiate it with respect to position, that is with respect to x. That is nothing but dou xi by dou x will be equal to a into exponential term is going to remain like that only, e raised to I kx minus omega t. Then again differentiating the exponential term with respect to x, we get I into k. Omega t is going to be equal to 0, its differentiation, because it is independent of x. And again we know that a into exponential term is nothing but xi. So from equation number 1 we can write that dou xi by dou x is equals to ik into xi. So I am calling it as equation number 2. We want momentum operator or linear momentum operator, but we don't have any momentum term here. We don't have p in this equation. So in order to introduce it, we need to use some standard equations. So from de Broglie hypothesis we know that lambda is nothing but h by p. So p we are having, but still we don't have a lambda or h in our equation number 2. So just modifying it. So if you multiply and divide by 2 pi, so lambda is equals to h by p into 2 pi divided by 2 pi. So h by 2 pi is nothing but h cross, and if you bring lambda and p, that will be from RHS to LHS and LHS to RHS. It is going to be p is equals to h cross into 2 pi by lambda. So 2 pi by lambda is nothing but the wave vector. So I have just substituted, and we know that linear momentum in k space can be given as h cross into k. So when I rearrange, k becomes equal to p by h cross, and I am having k in our equation number 2. So just substituting back the value of k in equation 2, we get dou xi by dou x is equals to I p by h cross into xi. Then rearranging, We want a momentum operator, so I will bring P on LHS side. So P into xi will be equal to H divided by I into dou xi by dou x. And we know 1 by I is nothing but minus I. That's why P xi will be equal to minus I H cross dou xi by dou x. So if we remove the xi term, because it is on both the sides, we can just write P or operator P is equals to minus I H cross into dou by dou x. So here we have considered only in one dimension, that is along x coordinate. So we can write the momentum as Px cap, which will be equal to minus IH cross dou by dou x. Similarly, along y direction it will be Py cap is equals to minus IH cross dou by dou y. In z direction, Pz cap is equals to minus IH cross dou by dou z. But in 3 dimension, we can just generalize it as P cap, that is the linear momentum operator, is equals to minus IH cross del. So this is the value of momentum operator in quantum mechanics. Next, let us move on to another type of operator, which is a energy operator. Here again we are considering the plane wave equation, but the difference is that we are differentiating it with respect to time. So now the exponential term, which is having the position term, that is ikx, is going to be equal to 0, but the other term, that is exponential of minus I omega t, is variable, because now we are considering the differentiation with respect to time. So dou xi by dou t is going to be equal to a into exponential of I kx minus omega t into minus I omega. And from equation number 1, we can write dou xi by dou t is nothing but minus I omega into z. Again, similar way, we can see no energy term here. So we have to bring some equation and substitute here, so that finally we get energy term. And we have E is equals to h nu. Again, if you just multiply and divide by 2 pi, we get h by 2 pi and 2 pi nu. We know h by 2 pi is nothing but h cross and 2 pi nu is nothing but omega. So we have E is equals to h cross omega. Therefore, as we are having omega term in equation number 2, we will write omega is equals to E by h cross. Then substituting this omega value in equation number 2, we get dou xi by dou t is equals to minus IE by h cross into xi. Again rearranging, we get E xi is equals to minus h cross by I into dou xi by dou t. Again simplifying, we know 1 by I is minus I. So minus of minus I is going to be equal to plus I. So E xi will be equal to IH cross dou xi by dou t. Again, if you remove xi from this equation, we get the energy operator, which is nothing but E cap is equals to IH cross dou by dou t. The point which we have to remember is, in case of momentum operator, we have the differentiation with respect to position, and in energy operator, we differentiate with respect to time. So this is a general thing whichever we have studied. So this is the value for energy operator. Then let us move on to the next type of operator, which is kinetic energy operator. Generally, in classical mechanics, we just say, or in general, we just say it as T is equals to half mv square. Again, if you multiply and divide by m, we can write it as mv whole square divided by 2m. So mv is nothing but p. That is, p is equals to mv is the general equation for linear momentum. That's why we get kinetic energy T is equals to p square by 2m. So this is a very general thing everyone knows. But how it is going to change with respect to quantum mechanics, we are going to study. Already we have studied about the momentum operator, so easily we can derive the kinetic energy operator. So T cap, which is the kinetic energy operator, is equals to, if you consider only one along x direction, it is nothing but px cap whole square divided by 2m. Substituting the value of px, which is nothing but minus ih cross dou by dou x whole square divided by 2m. Here you can write like this, or you can just write it as px dot px. So it is minus ih cross dou by dou x dot minus ih cross dou by dou x. Both the ways you will get the same thing. So when you solve it, minus whole square becomes plus, then I square is equals to minus 1 h cross square dou square by dou x square divided by 2m. So this is along x direction. If you want to generalize it, then T cap is equals to P cap whole square divided by 2m. Substituting the value of P cap as minus ih cross del whole square divided by 2m, we get kinetic energy operator, which is nothing but minus h cross square del square divided by 2m. So this is kinetic energy operator T cap. Then moving to the Hamiltonian operator. We know Hamiltonian is nothing but total energy of a system. It gives the total energy of a system. And again, energy is having two forms generally. One is potential energy and another one is kinetic energy. So we can write Hamiltonian operator as the sum of kinetic energy operator and potential energy operator. We have already seen T cap, which is kinetic energy operator, equating to P cap square divided by 2m, and potential energy operator, it is again the same, which is again a function of x comma t or r comma t. Again substituting the value of P cap in terms of operator form, we finally get the Hamiltonian operator value, which is h cap is equals to minus h cross square del square divided by 2m plus v of r comma t. So these are some of the derivations of operators which are generally used in quantum mechanics. If you consider position operator, in classical mechanics or in classically we say it as x, y, z. But in quantum mechanics they are just going to be replaced in the operator form x cap, y cap, z cap. So in 3 dimension it is going to be r cap. So momentum operator will be equal to minus ih cross dou by dou x. So this is linear momentum. Classically we say P is equals to m into v. Then energy. Energy we can state it as h into nu. Here in quantum mechanics it is I h cross dou by dou t in operator form. Then Hamiltonian operator, it is nothing but minus h cross square by 2m del square plus v of r comma t. So everywhere we are just using the simpler quantities like momentum, position, energy, and we can derive different variables or physical quantities which are nothing but often called as observables in quantum mechanics. So all operators of physical quantities which are often called as observables are linear operators. So when we are studying quantum mechanics, generally we just use the terms from the classical mechanics, think over it, and then go to quantum regime. So with x cap and p cap etc., other operators can be constructed. So these are some of the fundamental operators which are derived in today's session. So this is for today's session. Thank you.